We will talk about probiotics and prebiotics. Our digestive system is full of trillions of microorganisms, and some of them are beneficial and some of them are harmful, and this microorganism is called gut microbiome. And we can affect our gut microbiome. We can change it positively. It means we can increase beneficial microorganisms number, and foods which affect this, they are called probiotics and prebiotics. Probiotics are foods which contain live microorganisms directly, and for example yogurt is classical example of probiotic. It contains millions and billions of live microorganisms. And prebiotics usually is food for these beneficial bacteria. And classical examples of prebiotics are vegetables. They contain dietary fiber, which are food for these beneficial bacteria. And why pay attention probiotics and prebiotics at all? Because they have important health benefits. For example, they improve heart health. They decrease LDL, it's called bad cholesterol, and increase HDL, which is called good cholesterol level. Also, they improve digestion process, they decrease gas formation and decrease bloating, decrease symptoms of irritable bowel syndrome, and we have meta-analysis, and according to this, regular intake of prebiotics and probiotics increase short-chain fatty acids, and it increase cure of IBS in 70% of population. So 70% of people who has irritable bowel syndrome, just intake prebiotics and probiotics improve symptoms. It's very important. Also, prebiotics and probiotics improve immune system function and decrease risk of respiratory infections. It's very important for people who have weak immune system, and they commonly and frequently get cold and flu and COVID also. So it improves respiratory symptoms and decrease risk of respiratory infections, improves antibody productions, especially AGA, which fights against microorganisms. And prebiotics and probiotics decrease risk of type 2 diabetes, improves insulin sensitivity around 20%, which is very important. Also, it directly affects person's weight gain and weight loss. It helps weight loss and prevents weight gain. Now let's talk about directly probiotics and prebiotics. Classical example of probiotics are yogurt, kimchi, and kefir, and other fermented foods usually contains probiotics. It means they contains directly these live microorganisms which are beneficial for our body. They help improve digestion process and also improve our immune system function. Another food which is very important is vegetables like broccoli, carrots, Brussels sprouts, spinach, and sweet potatoes. They contain dietary fibers, and when vegetable contains more than 3 grams of dietary fiber, it's considered healthy, and it's considered high amount of dietary fiber for vegetable. And to convert it to direct benefit means that additionally eating 7 grams of dietary fiber reduce cardiovascular risk around 9%. And if person eats around 20 grams of dietary fiber daily, it prevents around 18% less likely that this person will weight gain. Also, barley, oats, and whole wheats and generally whole grains are healthy, and they also contain dietary fiber even higher amount compared to other vegetables, and they also contain soluble dietary fiber and insoluble dietary fiber both. And most vegetables usually contains high amount of insoluble dietary fiber and very low amount of soluble dietary fiber. But for example, oats, it contains high amount of soluble dietary fiber, also for example beta-glucan, which directly is correlated with growth of beneficial bacteria like bifidobacteria and lactobacilli. And let's not to forget about bananas. They are important because they contain fructooligosaccharides and inulin. They are prebiotics, important prebiotics, and bananas, especially when they are not ripe fully, important because even you bake, this banana still retain its prebiotic content. So it's important that if you get them in foods and in cakes, it's still beneficial. But not to forget that high amount of banana intake is not good for our health because it contains also radiation. It contains potassium isotope which is radioactive, so you should be careful that intake bananas moderately. It's important. And let's talk about other important fruits and foods which contains high amount of prebiotics like garlic, beans, legumes, apples. And apple is important because it contains pectin, but we should remember that this pectin, which is important prebiotic, is in the skin of apple, high amount. And if you eat apple, it's important to eat with skin and whole, not cooked, because when you heat apple, it loses important amount of pectin and prebiotic action. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you for your interest. Thank you for your watching. If you like my videos, please thumbs up. If you like my channel, please subscribe. Thank you very much. Bye for now.